Everyone knows the story of Mulan, the legendary girl who disguised herself as a man to save her father and became a hero of China. It's a great story. But what if I told you that the real Mulan lived 1,500 years earlier? This isn't a legend or a Disney movie. This is the story of a woman who was a queen, a high priestess, and one of the most powerful military generals of her time. A woman who led armies of 13,000 soldiers, who was entrusted with the fate of her kingdom, and who didn't need to hide who she was to do it. This is the story of Fu Hao, China's first and greatest female general, a warrior queen whose tomb lay untouched for over 3,000 years, waiting to reveal her incredible life. Our story begins around 1200 BCE, in the heart of Bronze Age China, during the Shang Dynasty. This was a time of bronze casting, chariots, and constant brutal warfare. The ruler was King Wu Ding, a powerful monarch who reigned for 59 years and had over 60 wives. But among those wives, one was different. Her name was Fu Hao. She wasn't just a queen who stayed in the palace. She rose through the ranks to become the king's most trusted advisor, a wealthy landowner, and his go-to military commander. How do we know this? Because the king was obsessed with asking the gods and his ancestors for advice. He did this using oracle bones, turtle shells, and ox bones that were heated until they cracked. The cracks were then interpreted as answers from the spirit world. Archaeologists have found thousands of these bones, and many of them are about Fu Hao. The king's questions, carved directly into these ancient relics, tell an incredible story. He asks, will Fu Hao be safe during childbirth? Will Fu Hao's harvest be successful? And then you start to see the questions that change everything. Should we order Fu Hao to raise an army? And the one that sends chills down your spine, should Fu Hao lead 13,000 soldiers, alongside the king, to attack the enemy? The answer, apparently, was yes. The Tu Feng, a hostile neighboring tribe, had been raiding Shang territory for generations. King Wu Ding decided to end the threat once and for all, and he put his wife in charge. Leading an army of 13,000 soldiers was an unprecedented command for anyone, let alone a woman. It was a force larger than most entire armies of the time. And she didn't just lead, she won. The oracle bones confirm a decisive victory. But this wasn't a one-time thing. Fu Hao went on to lead multiple campaigns, defeating at least 3 other rival kingdoms. In one brilliant campaign against the Chang tribe, she worked in tandem with the king's other top generals to execute a perfectly timed ambush, trapping the enemy army and securing one of the most significant military victories of her husband's reign. But Fu Hao wasn't just a warrior. This is where her story gets even more incredible. In the Shang Dynasty, the king was the high priest, the only one who could communicate directly with the most powerful gods and ancestors. But Fu Hao was so trusted and respected, she was given the authority to conduct her own special rituals. She would interpret oracle bones herself, preside over ceremonies for military victories, and even host sacrifices to appease the spirits. This made her one of the most powerful people in the kingdom, wielding influence in the 3 pillars of Shang society: the military, the government, and religion. She commanded armies on earth and spoke to the forces of the heavens. Sadly, Fu Hao died young, in her early 30s, long before her husband. King Wu Ding was devastated. He buried her in a lavish tomb just outside the main royal cemetery, a place where he could visit and continue to make sacrifices to her spirit, asking his deceased warrior queen for guidance and good fortune. And then, for 3,200 years, she was forgotten. Her story became whispers in the cracks of ancient bones, her tomb lost to the earth. Until 1976. Chinese archaeologists working near the Shang capital of Inshu were about to give up on a patch of land when one of them noticed a different colored section of earth. They started digging. What they found would rewrite history. It was a single, untouched tomb. Tomb 5. While the tombs of the Shang kings had all been looted centuries ago, this one was perfectly preserved. It was a treasure trove from the Bronze Age. Inside, they found over 1,600 priceless artifacts, 755 jade figures, 564 bone objects, and nearly 200 magnificent bronze ritual vessels. Many of these vessels were inscribed with 2 characters, Fu Hao. They had found her. But the real proof of her life as a warrior lay alongside the treasures. The tomb contained over 130 bronze weapons. Not ceremonial daggers, but real, functional weapons of war. Daggers, spears, and 4 massive bronze battle axes, known as the Yuland, in a grim reminder of the brutality of the era. The The skeletons of 16 human sacrifices were found in her tomb, servants and soldiers meant to protect and serve her in the afterlife. The discovery of Fu Hao's tomb was one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. It took her from the realm of myth and proved she was real. It confirmed the oracle bone inscriptions and painted a vivid picture of a woman who defied every convention of the ancient world. So when we talk about warrior women, we often think of legends. We think of Mulan, who had to pretend to be a man to be heard. But Fu Hao needed no disguise. She was a queen who led from the front, a priestess who spoke to gods, and a general who made her enemies tremble. She wasn't just a character in a story, she was the story. And she didn't need a Disney song to do it, ultimate symbol of military authority. One of those axes was clearly hers, a terrifying weapon that confirmed her status as a commander.